We're live. Making sure we're all good. That's it. We're live. What's good? Fuck it out. What a freaking what a way to start the stream. With a swear word. It has been quite an interesting moment in the market. Ooh, I feel a little bit low. 1 second there. That's better. Now I can see I can see above. I feel like Volkanovski in it, like short. There's 5'6" in it against Islam Makhachev. Do you guys watch that fight though? Before we even kick off, did anyone watch the UFC fight? That was a freaking fight and a half, man. I gave it to 4-1 to Thingy to Makachev. I don't know what Thingy Volkanovski was talking about. Like he got the second and the which I don't know. But to be honest, I gave it 4-4. I gave the first round to Makachev, the second round to Makachev, the third to Thingy to the Volkanovski, and I gave the fourth and the fifth to Thingy to Islam. So fair play to him, man. Pound for pound, killing it as it is. But anyway, let's talk about the big important thing. What's going on, champs? Hope you guys are doing well. Appreciate you guys jumping on as well. I don't really stream on a Monday afternoon. Yesterday I just chilling and whatnot with like family members and stuff like that. I haven't seen for a long time, so I had to reschedule it as well. So let's do the stream itself. Before we get cracking on, what I do want to pay attention to, I want to talk about really, is that whole Binance fight. Let's get that whole elephant out of the room first as well. Renault Talisman says he's in the clinic. No patience now watching. Oh, bless you, my bro. So let's talk about like the whole Binance fight, right? So the situation about this is about the whole BSUD. So for those who aren't aware, we got like the SEC is going after Paxos. Paxos is the whole issuing company that does the whole BUSD, and they're going after that. So effectively, they're going after Binance. But funnily enough, right, in September the 1st, there's been a leaked like a timetable of Gary meeting up with FTX with Sam on I believe it's on the 1st September. So is he throwing shade because now there's two congressmen in the US are actually throwing shade, like looking into him and whatnot, and now he's thrown out the whole Paxos, going after Paxos as smokes and mirrors. We got this whole alien situation going on as well. Who knows? It's weird. I mean, like I definitely do believe there's life outside this world that we live in, but to shoot down planes, it's a bit silly. So we don't know. There's a lot of things going on. So it's like I feel like they're dangling a carrot in front of us, right? And they're just moving it, right? And all we're looking at is this carrot. That's all we're doing. We're just looking at the carrot over and over again, and we're not focusing on what's going outside. We're not looking left or right or in front of us. So he's gonna hit us into a wall. So I don't know. I really don't know what's going on with this whole BUSD. I do think it's a FUD. I do think it's a FUD. Like don't take my word for it. It's not financial advice, but I'll share my point of view on this from what I'm thinking myself and what I shared with the DCC. So I do think it's FUD. To go after stablecoin makes no sense. Is Binance in the shitter? Do they have problems going on as well in the background? I do think that every company out there are trying to, they're in it for the money. Very few people are actually in it for legitimately for good reason. So I don't know. I mean, I can't judge a person but for whatever reason, what they've done or whatever. That's not my duty at all. That's entirely on them. But when you look at it this way, right? We've had a whole FTX scenario that happened back in November, right? We had that. What's going on, man? Cat back. Good to have you here, man. Shout out to all you guys, man. So we had the FTX situation, and what was quite important is those who actually tried to withdraw FTX, like the money from FTX, wasn't able to. Now, I don't know how big this thing's gonna be. I'm still in alts as it is. Smash the likes, Morningstar. I appreciate that, man. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to this. But my advice is this, right? I don't know what's gonna happen. Nobody knows what's gonna happen. Is Binance gonna stop withdrawing? I don't know. But what I've already done is I've moved my funds out of there just to be on the safe side. I don't really care what happens if it's all safe and whatever, because I know CZ's coming out, it's all Safu and whatever, all that kind of nonsense. But if it's all safe and whatnot, great. I'll put it back in afterwards. And there's no harm in it. I'm just moving my funds. That's all it is. It's not like I'm not going to use Binance. If things all cool down and calm down and whatever, I'll definitely go back into Binance as well. I mean, to be honest, some of the trades I bought in the spot bags are all on Binance. Really, not all. Some. Well, not all. Some are. for example, like Alice and what do you call it? There was Link. There's a bunch of few others as well, which actually bought in and bought on the Binance exchange. So all I've done is just moved it from Binance onto somewhere else. So how you want to play this is entirely up to you. It's not financial advice, obviously. So you can actually move it into a ledger if you want to. You can move it onto another exchange. It's entirely up to you. But I've just moved it out. Honestly, I moved it out, and I've decided to move it onto a ledger instead, just to be safe. I'd rather it there than anywhere else. At least I know that if anything were to happen, I can move it from the ledger onto an exchange, and if I need to sell, I'd sell. It's not a big deal. So like I said to you, I like in the alt stream that I did last week on, I believe it was on Thursday, I talked about I've got two separate minds on this. I've got one as a trader and one as an investor. That's what I'm doing. All right. So I'm looking at this right now as a trader, not as an investor. So I'm not investing in anything at this very moment in time. I've done my time of investing, but I put some money into a bunch of altcoins, and some of them did like phenomenal numbers as well. Some of them come back to entry. Some of them I'm a bit below. It's a range. That's crypto for you. So it's a risk you take, and it's always a risk you take in when you invest in it. Obviously, you guys need to do your own research. That goes without saying. But let's get cracking into what the whole market is. That's my piece on Binance and whatnot. But let's talk about the real thing that we're all here for. What is happening to the market itself? So dollar index. What's interesting about this in dollar index, right? This red line here is the yearly open, right? So we're at the yearly open. We're looking to. It looks like we're finding support, right? What's capping the market right now for me is this particular area here, all right? So if I were to show it to you, see this area here? That's what's capping the market right now. Let me just drop it into 1 hour. Actually, I think 1 hour makes a bit more sense. Yeah, there we go. That makes a lot more sense. So you can use two things, right? You can use this as a pivot, right? This high here, pivoting it. What's it? Why is it a pivot? You can see resistance, deviation, resistance, deviation, and resistance. So we are unable to flip that. But the moment we flip above it and hold above it, bullish price action, off you go. Dollar index is going to be pushing up higher. How high? We'll talk about it in just a second. That's one way you can look at it as one for a bullish scenario. The second way you can also look at it as a bullish scenario is looking at where the price is getting capped at. To me, price is getting capped at here. This one candle over here, this last up candle sent the market back down, and we found resistance right over here, is finding resistance here, a bit of a deviation into it, resistance, all right? So, as long as this high holds, really and truly, invalidations here, you're good to go for the lower. But would I enter in the short? No, not necessarily. You've got CPI, which I'll touch base on that in just a moment. CPI is next week, it's tomorrow. So, I'm going to wait on CPI, but looking at, if I was looking, I mean, this can go on for however long it wants to. Let's just drop into the CPI stuff, actually. So, tomorrow, we've got CPI, as you can see, right, and core CPI, all happening tomorrow at 1:30 in the UK time, right? Happy Valentine's, everybody. It's going to be a very interesting Valentine's for everybody itself. I mean, in terms of the forecast looks okay. It doesn't look that great, but we'll see what happens. Like in terms of the volatility will come in after the CPI. The movement of the price itself will be a lot more clear after CPI. So for now, I don't really have a say to say. Like, am I in a trade? No, I'm not in the trade. I was in a BTC long yesterday. Actually, I was in a BTC long, and then I had my stops at break even. Didn't take any profits on that. It was actually pushing up as well quite nicely. I think I was up about just over 1 hour or something like that. Brought my stops to break even. Went out for dinner because I wasn't able to touch and monitor it as well. And yeah, I got a notification, so I got stopped out. And that's what it is. It is what it is. So am I taking the trade now? No. I'm not taking anything. I'm just gonna let things calm down. And after CPI, we'll see what the deal is. But for the rest of the week, we got USD core retail sales that's happening. Empire State Manufacturing Index and retail sales that's happening on Wednesday at 1:30. On Thursday, we got again core PPI. Right, so you got CPI on Tuesday, core PPI on Thursday. Very volatile week as well ahead of us. And on Friday, we don't really have anything, but except like FOMC members are speaking throughout the whole week itself. They will say their bit as well. But is it going to be massive news related? Not necessarily. The ones I'm focusing, the ones are in red. So will be CPI, PPI, and it'll be the core retail sales. The retail sales itself. These are the main things. And Empire State Manufacturing Index. These are the things I've been looking out for. So being cautious just before those time as well, and watching how price action is, and let the price do its thing, and then we look for a setup itself. So I'll show you the bullish price action itself. If we actually reclaim the pivot or reclaim the block over here. Now, if we was going to reclaim, where are the targets? Really and truly. I mean, first things first, we can just look at this from this is all on the 1 hour. I'm not zooming down any further because it's a weekly outlook, right? So let's just say this, right? This is capping the market. If it does this, right, and you know what? Let's fuck it. Let's do it the way I would do it. It's right here. This is what's capping the market here. Okay. So if I see price on dollar index start pushing up, get a body close above it, hold above it, then I'm like, all right, then let's fill out all this inefficiency, and we can go for target 1, target 2, and target 3. After that, we'll see what happens next. So looking about the 105 is the key area where we're going to see some sort of reaction right over here, just around the 105. So that's an area I'll be looking for. That's target 1, target 2, I would say off here, flat body candle up there, I believe, and then the highs over here. After that, we'll see what happens. So these are the 3 areas that we're looking at. You look at it this way, it's like a range, isn't it? That's a range high, that's a range low, that's the mid-range. Kind of sits in perfectly. So if he steps into it, let it do its thing, mid-range, go into range high. After that, we'll see what happens. Does he come back down and play back down as a retest, or does he actually break up on the upside? God knows. We'll see what happens, but this is the kind of price action I'll be looking for the dollar index. If he were to be bullish, let it set up before I even take it. And if it does that, happy days. I look to short euro, short the pound, Aussie dollar, all the rest as well, and looking to short ES at the same time. And it's really important that if we are shorting ES, we need to look at what BTC is doing. We know BTC is actually taking a fat dump as well, at the same time with the whole BUSD situation that's going on as well. So let it do its thing. If I want to take the shorts on dollar index, right, what am I looking? So this black line over here, what is that? Let's just cover this up. Is this high over here, right? That's a pivot right there. So you got high over here, resistance, deviation, resistance over here briefly, then we blast it off there. So that's going to be a very important level, and as you can see, it's already tested it and found support. So if it was to go down, I need to play this level to level. How do I do so? Then all I've got to do is let price do its thing. How do I get confirmation for me to actually get the shorts? First, right, we need to get below this red line here, which is the yearly open. Once we get below the yearly open, then we're like, all right, then this looks like a deviation and whatnot. But how do we do this? Whoops. Yeah. So how do we do this, right? So we're looking for price action to actually start breaking down. One way you can do it, right, is looking at this. You see this area here, right? That's an area of that's a consolidation right there, right? So what we had to consolidation, come back down, deviation, pop back up, back down, back up. Is it going to hold support? We don't know. If it starts stepping into it below the yearly open, we can play it down short term, back into the mid range, and then into range low. And then we see we get a deviation into here, stepping into this area there. Let it see do its thing. If it steps back up, once we lose this level here, that's when you can say, yeah, this is your confirmation to play it where? Play it down, fill out all this inefficiency right over here. That'll be the first target right there. Then you'll be looking target 2, target 3, and we're looking for the lows down over here. And then we'll see what happens if we can retest this key area. This 100.4. What's so important about 100.4? It literally is this area here. So let me just drop it to the monthly. It's a range band environment on the quarterly actually, but that's what it is. So that's the high. Oops. That's the high, and that's support, and that's the low. Find support, resistance, deviation, 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 resistance, deviation, higher lows, off it goes, blast off, motherfuckers. And that's what it really was as well. So that's what I've been looking for, you know, at least to see if we can get into it, because this is a weekly order block, right? This is a weekly order block. If it does retest into here and holds above it, play it up to the yearly open, blast off. I don't know, I really don't know, but I'll be looking for that area there. Just so interesting enough, right, on the monthly, you got a gap over here. And that gap comes in at 105.6 to 105.9-ish, right? So do we fill this out? You know, this is very possible that we can fill this out. You know, have a bodily close above it that closes this above here, and then do we test into 108? From 108, we'll see what happens. We have to monitor this level to level, but it's all comes down to the yearly open. All comes down to the yearly open. Do we reclaim and hold above it? If we do, great. Play the longs on dollar index. Play the shorts across the market. If we break down below, then that's it. Let's go lower onto let's play the shorts on sorry. They'll play the longs on the currency pairs against the US dollar, and play the longs on BTC. All right. So that's pretty much I haven't got a clear read. So like I said, Tuesday is the day that I'll be looking for. What's going on, TCX? How you doing, my bro? Martin, how you doing, my brother? Good to have you here. Partial daily. Reynolds saying is, man, I put my money in coins 90% down. Great teams with active teams and projects like ROSN, FCon. I'm actually in FCon, you know. I think I'm on break even at the moment on FCon. And FFR as an investor. Is it good to stay in it? in these news, can BTC affect these low caps so much? It can. It really can. It genuinely can. Like the market as a whole is being affected. One way to actually have a look at that as well is looking at what Total 2 is doing. I like the news Total 2. And right, interestingly enough, we talked about that on the stream on Thursday, quite in depth as well. So hopefully, like if you missed it, do check it out. It was the altcoin, like an altcoin discussion we did. So what we just briefly just touch base on it as well, because I know this is new to a lot of people as well on the channel, because we haven't really spoken about this before. But that's July's low, that's July's high, deviation, that's the mid range, support, deviation, support, come back there. You know, you can see it's all choppy there, found resistance. There's a deviation in the mid range, sells it to a range low. And if you guys remember, over here is where I was actually bullish on alts. I actually posted this on Twitter as well. Starting to look at bullishness on alts once we reclaim and hold above it. We talked about going into this order block there, reclaim this area there. Let's go to the mid range, hold above the mid range. Let's go to this area here, which is a macro range low, and then let's go to July side. That's what I was looking for originally as well. So market is actually looking to, you know, you have to admit, I'm looking at this as a trader, not an investor. So what the coins I've invested, like Apex, I got in Apex at 30 cents. Right now, Apex is holding at 39 cents. 39 cents. So I'm up 30% on it as well, but it's a different game for me. That's an investor. I put that to the side, and I'm not going to look at it for the time being. Like if it goes down low to, I don't know, 30 cents, 25, 20 cents, maybe 10, I don't know, I'm happy to DCA around that area. One mistake I talked about in the stream itself last time was that my biggest mistake was I actually bought into certain altcoins and never held on to it. I was playing as a trader, taking profits, and yeah, it's all great. I mean, everyone has their own way of playing it, and it's entirely up to you. You guys can do what you feel like is right. If you want to take profits on Apex, for example, at $1, go for it. Take profits on $1. But I know in the heart of the bull run, the alts fucking blow. They blow so mad. So, you know, was it range band? Does it do like $30, like 100x for me? I don't know. If it does, great. If it doesn't, it does like $10 or $5. And then we start breaking down. BTC tops up and whatever. I know I rode from 30 cents all the way up to like $5, for example. And who knows? Who knows what can happen? Does it go to $100? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't think anyone can actually know what's ahead of us. But one thing we are quite certain about is in April 2024. Sorry, not April, May 2024, we are going to have the Bitcoin halving, and we know that's when it tends to be quite bullish across the market itself. So we'll see how it goes. I've got I'm buying in positions of a third right now. Like I said to you at the very beginning of the stream, I'm not looking to involve myself in buying any altcoins at the moment. I'm looking to actually protect myself and hold the USDT that I have available. The alts I bought in that are investing are just purely investing. The ones I've actually played as a quick short-term plays and whatever, they're quick short-term plays. So you guys are all like, obviously, look, right, I'm not going to tell you everything that I do and what I don't do and stuff like that. I might as well just give you my wallet and then give you my keys to the cars and then give the keys to the house. But I'll give you enough information for you guys to actually ascertain what's the best thing to do. So you guys, everyone can play it the way they feel like. What I do truly believe that there's going to be a lot of people in the bull run who are still going to hold and they're not going to sell. That's the honest truth about it. The human mind is very greedy. You know, like we can't let go. Bombiggy right now, accumulating slowly. He was saying like he's one of the guys who bought Solana at $1.50. You know, and he sold at $200 and something. So play like him, man. Take example of some of these guys. Like we don't need to like. If it makes us $1 million, great. If it doesn't, then so what? Just take the profit, man. You know what I'm saying? That's all you've got to do. But talking about dollar, let's just base on ES, right? So ES, right? It's pushing up today. It's showing me slowly, like, you know, it is showing me a bit of a bullish market structure. You know what? Where from? Like, well, here, this high here, showing me the bullish market structure there. If you reclaim this high there, and if it does something like this and reclaims and hold above it, as a trade, I think I would look into here, and possibly to this area there, like nearly around this area there in July's. September's high. To me, is it ready for a breakout? Not necessarily. Why? What's so important about this? If we just zoom out of it for a second, we just need to bear in mind that what we got here is this high here is September's high. That thing of resistance, there's no deviation, no resistance here. It's still acting as resistance. So you go long, short term, yes. Would I take a trade right now? Not necessarily. I wait for CPI. I want to see if price comes back up and then CPI comes out and we see price breaking down. Then I'll be looking to take the trade back into 25% range, looking for the mid-range of the weekly range itself. What's so important about the weekly range? Well, really and truly, this was the whole play here. So let me just mark this out. That's the high, and that's the low. Right, and then we do the mid-range. So all I'm looking at is just literally looking at it as a range band environment as a trader, nothing else. as a trader. When we get a breakout to this, right, we get a breakout here. Is this enough for me to go for long? Not necessarily, because this could be a deviation, just like it was a deviation here. What I would like to see to increase my probability, increase my my risk, right? Increase my probability to reduce my risk itself. It's seeing that if we once we reclaim above this and hold above it, shows bullish market structure, then we can start going for higher highs, because what we're doing, this is the high, right? So then it will be a higher high, higher low, higher high. This could be a higher low on the higher time frame. This is on the 4 hours right here that I'm looking at. If you were to look at it in like probably a daily chart itself, you probably see it slightly like something similar like this. I don't know, but ideally, right? Oops. Ideally, that's the plan that I'm looking for longs. Now, what happens if it doesn't give me the longs and it does something like this? What if it doesn't come into here? Well, I need to start looking at what the price action is. What if it comes into somewhere around, let's say here, this area there, and it doesn't come into here? Quite possible. So what I gotta do, let this happen and go there. See what dollar index is doing. If dollar index is pushing up above the yearly open and it starts breaking and it starts holding out, I look for the short here. Invalidation is based on here. Where am I looking for targets? Target 1 will have to go to, well, I now got this low over here, right? And then we've got liquidities over here. So you can start looking for liquidity, target 1. Looking into this as target 2. Going into this as target 3. That's the way to play, and that'll be the. And then we see some sort of reaction there. If we get to the mid-range, let it do its thing. Once we go back down, break below, play it back down, looking for the range low itself. That's all you're playing, and make sure you take profits at each particular areas there, as I've highlighted, right as we talked about, like this, and then range low. These are the areas you'll be looking to take profits on the downside when you look at the short-term market, if it presents itself. Now, what happens, right? For example, let me just delete that. We come off this, right, and we do something like this. Like this. Oops, 1 minute. Try again. I'll be looking to take a long, playing it back up into this area here. Right, that's all it is, because I'm starting to show me bullish price action there, bullish price action over here. Off it goes, making higher highs, higher low, thinking higher lows on the lower time frame. Play the longs over there. But if we lose the mid range, play it back down to range low. That's pretty much as simple as that on the weekly itself. And it just so happens this range low here is actually near September's low, I believe. September's mid, my mistake. Let me just try and find that for you. 1 second there. Yeah, you see, the range low comes into September's mid over here, which is where one of the targets was off this high here. Okay, so that's the way I'll be looking at it as a trader's perspective. Let's talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin's quite important right now, right? Everyone's actually interested in what's going on with Bitcoin. Is it bullish? Is it bearish? Right now, it's pushing up right now into the mid range. This is Bitcoin dominance. So if we do something like this, break down below, then this should actually be good for Bitcoin, because that means money is from shifting over Bitcoin into Ethereum and possibly Ethereum, and then that will then in turn shift to alts as well. Okay, everyone understands that? That's pretty much what it is. Now, as long like this area here, what's capping the market? I'd say it's this high here. That's capping the market there. If we reclaim this high, then it's fucking take the fucking shorts right on Bitcoin and let's send this a lot more higher. Where are we gonna go? Well, really and truly back to range high. Really and truly back to range high. The moment, right? It's weird though. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's really, really weird. So the beginning of January, we start dipping down, right? Which is all fine. Okay, cool. But then we start rallying away quite strongly. But then alts was pushing up and Bitcoin was pushing up at the same time. A little bit confusing. I played the alts and whatnot. It was great. I had a lot of money, made some good money on that and whatnot. But why did alts push up and BTC dominance was pushing up? It didn't make much sense. But it is what it is. You play the market as it comes. So if it was to come back down and do something like that, where am I looking for? Well, really and truly, take out this low. This is your confirmation. And then we'll be looking to go into this area here, target 1. And then we come back into 25% of the range of this range bound environment over here. And looking to go into the weekly high. This weekly high was a deviation, resistance, deviation, come back down. And then we shoot up. So that's going to be a key pivotal area there. What happens over here, I don't know. Do we send it back down to range low? I don't know. We'll have to work this out level to level as it comes by, but CPI is going to be the key factor. Now, BTC is one of those, it's one of those ones where, you have to take things with caution. Now, I'm not playing this, right, with a long or a short right now. I'm literally just sitting down. What's going on, Nando? How you doing? Big man's in the house as well. Got Lufty. How you doing, my brother? Yeah, so BTC is one of those ones where I'm literally just watching now, right? I need to, I missed the short here. I missed the short right here. this short over here, I missed it. So what am I gonna do? Mope about it? Nah, fuck that. You be a little. You can't. Like trading. This is the one thing with trading. Sometimes you win some. Sometimes you lose some. There's always winners and losers. You're never gonna be 100% right. I was looking for bullish momentum. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was looking for bullish momentum. Total 2 was looking good. We reclaimed the mid range. July's mid range itself. We Bitcoin was coming up towards like a July's high as well, which is looking for that range high, the top of the purple line, 24.666, the devil's number. So I had some reasons for me to look for longs as well, but then like it started to slip. What can you do? You just play the game as it is. I watched it. I didn't really enter a trade on BTC or thingy like on shorts itself especially. I didn't enter any trades. There was a couple of small little trades here and there in terms of day trades and shit like that. But more importantly, the price has come back to a key area. Can you see that? November's high in that little lilac color. I don't know, is it called lilac or something like that? I'm not really good with colors. Partially colorblind, so you guys might think it's red. Well, no, you guys might think it's pink, but to me, it's full on red. But anyway, so once, just like, look, when I say to you, right, I've said this before to you numerous times, and I'll say this again, right? So when you get a drop in the market, let it drop, establish its range band environment, have the macro range in there. See right here, we found resistance, stop run, resistance, lower highs. We start losing this area there, start taking out liquidity over here. You can look for shorts to play it back down to the range low, looking for liquidity of here and possibly here and whatnot, right? And then if it shows bullish price action, play back to the mid range, right? There's a deviation, sells it back down, right? So alright, cool. So now what we've done is, right, I want to show you 2 charts. Number 1 is this one. Let me delete this for a second, just for a second, right? And I'm going to bring this back up in just a moment, right? We're at the mid-range. So this is July's mid-range. Is it going to be game over? I don't know. If it's going to be game over, then it will have to show us some sort of price action like this. So you see we got this low over here. So once they do its thing, confirmation, get back below, find resistance, bearish market structure, take the shorts off, I go. Play it back down to 25% range into this liquidity over here and looking to go into 18.6, which is July's low. What happens next? I don't know. Does it come into here? Quite possibly. Does it come into here and then find support and reclaim and hold above it? I don't know. Could be. But I'll be focusing on the shorts and let it establish itself before I look at taking the longs. I don't rush into a trade just yet. I mean, I used to play a lot of like aggressive trades and stuff like that. Now I've got to a stage right now, alhamdulillah, where I can take things a little bit more calmer right now. So Shortmatic yesterday at 129. Nice one, you. It was really good. Big man's colorblind too as well. This is red, isn't it? If you say to me it's pink, then you're not colorblind. I'm joking. But yeah, so literally, that's the market. Will I take a short? No, not yet. I need to let it do its thing. I'm respecting July's range. So we're at the mid range. There's gonna be a chop and block over here. We don't know what's gonna happen. It's at the chopping block. Once we actually break, look, if it's gonna be bullish, right? This is the price action I've been looking for. If it's going to be bullish, this is what I'll be looking for. Let me extend this over here. This is last week's Monday's low. So can you see how we took a deviation on the upside? Right? Take out the liquidity on Monday's low, step back into the range, play it back into to Monday's low. Take out the double bottoms over here, come back in, quite briefly step in, sells off. Right? So now, what we really have is this, that. I'm just trying to zoom into it so you guys can actually focus on that. That's better. What we really have is this, that. Consolidation. Right? Breakout. Do we have a retest? What happens after that? I don't know. I'll be quite happy for a retest because if he finds resistance over here and breaks down, I'll take the short play back down level to level. It's a level to level play. But what I've got to see now is like, how do I play this? We're at the mid range. I wanted to play this over a period of time. This could well be a range bound environment for however long it wants to be. So something like that. I think like something like this. This is the range bound environment that I've got around here. Maybe a little bit. I'll probably use this one actually. I think I use this one. Yeah, I used. Did I? Let's just do it. It doesn't really matter. Same principle anyway. Anyway, so we've got like an hour and 57 for this 4-hour candle to close, right? If it holds above it on the lower time frame, play it level to level to July's mid range, reclaim slowly level to level, and day trades into this highs over here. If we break out and shows bullish market structure over here, this is my confirmation to say, yeah, let's play the game. Fill out the fair value gap. Oops. Fair value gap here, or the inefficiency, whatever you want to call it, play into there as target 1 and then looking for target 2 on Monday's high. That's it. What happens next? I don't know. Do we hold above it and reclaim it, play back to the mid-range to range high. That's what I'll be looking for. Or is it going to be one of those ones where, let me just remove this, or is it going to be coming to here, find some resistance into this area there, breaks down, play it back down into here, target 1, target 2, and then cut the trade, see what happens. If we continue breaking down, take another short, play it back down as we discussed. Or if we actually decide to say, you know what, we're not going to actually fuck over here, we're going to hold support, establish support, reclaim that high there itself, and let's play back in there, and I think we're going to step back into the range itself, possibly. So that's what I'll be looking for. Is it a retest, then expansion on the downside, or is this, or just a deviation on the downside? Now, yeah, the deviation on the downside. Now, I don't know. It's all an idea. You know what I'm saying? That's the beautiful thing about following price action. So you follow it day by day. Lower time frame and stuff like that. And we see what's up. Magenta. Bless you. Madrico, is this PA likely to form a bear trap? Well, if it comes into a retest over here, right, and pulls back down, yeah. Well, in terms of bear trap, right, like this could be a bull trap, right, and then send it back down. I mean, for me, confirmation will have to be here to confirm that, yeah, let's go for the swing shorts, playing it down to 18.6k. That's when That's when I'll start looking up, like, all right, then let's go 18.6. Let's do it. And then we'll see. But after 18.6, we'll see what happens next, right? We've got time for that. You know, as it unfolds itself. So, Paul Sinclair saying, good afternoon, sir. How are you? I'm doing well, alhamdulillah. How about yourself, man? The blue range is Monday's range. Last week's Monday's range. That's all it was. So all it was. Last week's Monday's low, and last week's Monday's high. That's all it is. Okay? So I'm looking for consolidation, breakout, retest, and then we'll see what happens next. Do we sell off, or do we reclaim and keep going up there? Now, that's one chart. The other chart I want to show you is this now. Okay? So you can see that I was looking to play this little range over here. Let's just jump on the quarterly, right? Just talk about the quarterly, and let's just see what do I have here, right? Yearly open is pretty much a flat body candle and whatever. I get that, right? But let's see what's happening on the quarterly. Quarterly wise, right? What we've done is we've taken out. So we had this high over here and this low over here. That's really October's high and November's high, November's low. That really was November's high, November's low. So I mean, the quarter's not over yet. The quarter, we've got a month and 19 days. We had a fast rally up in the first start of the quarter. Is this a breakdown over here to play it down into a bit of a bearish quarter? I don't know. I really don't know. I need to follow this day by day. I mean, let's just hide this all up there and just talk about what's on hand right now. So we've got this high here and this low here. This is what I'm looking at. Okay? We've taken out the last quarter's high. If we close below here, then it's just taking that liquidity. We play it level to level. We've got mid-range, back to range low. But if this, right, obviously it's a quarterly candle. It's only a 1 day, I think a one candle that you'll see. But if I show you on, like, let's go on the monthly. How does it look like? Bring this up. On the monthly, you can see that it looks like a retest. Is it a retest? Yes, you can argue with me, but hang on a second, Daink. All this is a fair value gap or inefficiency that we can come back into the mid-range at 18.5k, which comes into tie with what we said, 18.6k. Does that make sense? You guys follow me? I'm talking about July's. I'm looking to lose July's mid-range and lose November's high. If we lose November's high, we play it back down 19.7k, 19.8k, which is previous all-time high, 25% of range, and looking into these areas. These are the targets I'm looking for in terms of shorts. Am I looking for 12k? I can't look at 12k right now. Why? I can't look at 12k because we've got this range over here to deal with first. Once we deal with this range, once we break out of this range, and then I can say, yeah, let's go to 12k. But until then, we have to look at what's going on. Right now, it's a perfect trading environment. And this is what I love. Range-bound environments are the best way to make money. I like during bear market, it was fucking phenomenal. It was beautiful to play. Just non-stop. What do you think about using last week's range low? Yeah. Absolutely. What the fuck? How did I say that? Absolutely. Absolutely. You can definitely do that. Definitely that, Hugh. So, like, is everyone with me with the idea of, like, look, I'm not looking at 12k. I'm not going to talk about 12k until we take out the liquidity over here. Because we've got the yearly open. Because we can come into the yearly open and find support. And come into the mid-range and then break out and then do this. That's very possible. Or we can come back down, take out the... Oops. Let's make this bigger. Let me just hide this. Let me just put this there. That's the high. And that's the low. Right, cool. And that's the mid-range. That's what we're focusing on. Nothing else, right? Just keep it nice and simple. and nothing too complicated for anybody else. We can this could be a well range band environment. Really, I'll be looking for July's range as the range band environment, and that was the deviation there. That could well be it, you know. Or this could be a retest, breakout, upside, off we go. I don't know. Once we reclaim the monthly open, then we can definitely say, yeah, we have targets of this high here, and then 24.666, and then also these liquidities over here. That's a possible way. So I don't really know. I need to see what happens because of the whole Binance FUD and the whole Binance situation. I'm not gonna take things. I'm not gonna go for longs. I'm gonna let the market tell me it's ready to go. Right now, it's not ready to go. It's not ready to go on the upside. Could this be a pullback into here, or do we have a pullback into here, or is it game over and come back into here and lose this level there and then go to 12k? I don't know. Once we get that, that's when I can start saying, yeah, 12k is on the table. Until then, there's so many things ahead of us that's acting as support. We've got, let's draw the lines. We've got July's low, macro range band environment. Can you see that? We've actually range band in this since July. All we've had is a deviation. That's number one. We've got the mid range of July last month, last quarter, which comes to 18.5k. We've got this high. That's the last down candle over here that's pushed the market up. We've got this to bounce off. Let's use that actually. Let's use that. We've got the yearly open, you know, the yearly open to act as support. And then we've also got liquidity over here to be like possibly taken out and still reclaim the yearly open and push up for higher prices. And once we get back up, let's run the motherfucker back up. There's so many levels at this very moment in time on higher time frame that's acting as support. So I won't be looking at 12k right now. If it does come to 12k, let it go. Do I really care? Am I really gonna like bust my nut over it? Nah, fuck that. Like Twitter are focusing on like it's funny on Twitter. You got Twitter, they're saying you got bullish and bearish scenarios. I can understand both sides of the target. I can understand both of them. I can get it. I'm not gonna argue with it. I think like both sides have pretty decent valid points. The bears and the bulls. But as a trader myself, I'm looking at the market. I'm like, you know what? It's a range band environment. Why do I give a shit about if it goes to 12k? Why do I give a shit if it goes to 30k? All I give a shit about is playing that market as it is and making the money where it's at. That's all I'm looking for. Does that make sense? That's truly what I'm looking at. Not making it overcomplicated. Not making it any difficult than that. So we're looking at that. So I mean, like if I drop it down to a daily, right? Let's look. Someone's Hugh was saying, what do you think about using last week's low? Yeah, absolutely. So you can use last week's low. What you've got here, funnily enough, right? We've taken out liquidity over here, which was going to be my next point actually. That's the low and that's the high. This is where we're playing in. The mid range comes into around here. So are we holding into that range? Let me see, where's that high? Let me just draw that out. Monday. Last week's high. Yeah, that's last week's high. And last week's low is this low here. Right, cool, got it, done. Capiche. So we've got this high here, and then we've got this low here. We've done the stop run there. Is it enough to say it's bullish? Not necessarily. We've got this as the mid range, approximately a little bit high maybe. This is gonna be the mid range, okay? What we got here? Done the stop run. For me to say yeah, it's bullish. Like we got bullish price action there. Is if we start to close above and hold above this area there. Just bullish price action, play back into the mid range as we discussed, and if we hold above it, play into this area there. That's been another set of targets there, and then see if we can squeeze it into last week's high because we're taking out last week's low's liquidity. Let's take out last week's high's liquidity. After that, do we break out and hold above it, or do we decide to say, yeah, you know what, it's a range bound environment. Let's play it back down to mid range back to range low. That's pretty much the point of it. So that's the where the focus of the price action is right now. What I also am focused on is that November's high. If we lose November's high, right, which is in green, then let me delete that. Then I'll be looking at that. I'm literally looking at from a lower time frame. We've gone to 4. We've got this particular area here. Let's use this low here and this high over here. Yeah, something like that. Along the lines of that. Step back in. Let it do its thing. Once it breaks down, this is my shorting scenario. Back into these areas there. So I'll be looking for that properly, right? And then I'll be looking for targets of this here, and then I'll be looking to here and here, and then yeah, play it level to level. That makes a lot of sense. Target 1, target 2, target 3, and target 4. That's it. And then once do we hold above it and play back up to the mid range, but once we lose this area there, breaks down over here, we can play it down to 25% range, looking how we react off the previous all-time high. If we hold the previous all-time high, then we play back up. If we lose the previous all-time, if we lose the previous all-time high, play it back down to the mid range to 18.5k, whatever the number is, right? And then that's, which is like we also got July's low on 18.6k, level to level. That's all it is, nothing else. Bullish scenarios really and truly is that if I were to look at it this way, let me just bring up the other chart. I need to reclaim this because remember, playing into here, right? They consolidate over here. If it breaks down, it breaks down. But if you break out and hold above this level over here, let's draw this out like that, something like that. Then what we're looking for is playing it back, taking out these highs of it. Well, taking out this high over here to 18. Well, that's target 1. That's target 2, 24,666, and then we take out the liquidity there. That's what I'm looking for. Or do we actually come back down, play back down, cut the trade, off we go, play back down over here. That's what we're looking for. So keeping it nice and simple as a trader. There'll be time to be very bullish, but at this very moment in time, I don't see the bullish scenarios as it is right now. Lower time frame, excuse me, it looks all it's hard to say. It's really hard to say. I have to wait for CPI. I'm not going to be trading myself personally. I'm going to wait for CPI. Ethereum, just not much to touch about a base on it as well. This is July's low. January's low right here at the bottom. Let me just zoom out of here. There you go. You guys can see it now. That is January's low. January's mid-range. January's high. We're coming back down. We were unable. Resistance, but unable to reclaim this level here. I did say to you last week, right, when we did the weekly stream, $1,700 is the macro range low. So if we were to hold above it, then yeah, I'll be looking for longs itself, right? To go up higher for 1792, which is actually Ethereum's July's high. That's what I was looking for, but it didn't give us that. Instead, so we weren't able to reclaim that thing. I was sitting down idly, and the market, and obviously it was coming out of resistance anyway, and the market dropped, lost the 75% of range, lost this there, bearish market structure, where we're looking to go into the mid range itself. Quite importantly, what's so important about this level here in green, that is previous all-time high at 1440. That's in the Binance chart. It'll be very different on other charts, slightly different, a couple of dollars and whatnot, but that's what we're looking at. Okay, so if I'm looking at this as a February range, yeah, that was the rate, that was the trade I took. This exactly was the trade I took into. I entered in. We're looking bullish as well. I was up about an hour at the time when I actually moved my thingy. We was live with the DCC at the time as well. I had my bullish market structure over here, right? Clean close above it. Came back for a retest. Let me hide that. Had the drawing. Came back for a retest, and right here is where I actually entered the trade. I put my stop loss over here, and I was looking for to fill out inefficiencies on the upside there. Obviously, I want to monitor the trade itself. I wasn't able to monitor it. I had to go. Did a stream briefly when we were around here itself, and then what happened was I told him live, I'm bringing my stop loss to break even, just in case we had a fuckery, because we were facing areas of resistance. I actually shared it with the guys. The first area was this area here. That's the area of resistance. So we weren't able to get a break above it. If I had a candle close above it, I could actually start being a bit more confident on a pullback breakout upside there as well. That's what I would have been comfortable with, but we didn't get that. I was like, you know what, actually, to be fair, it's a Sunday, big mistake to take a trade on a Sunday so close to the thingy to the weekly close. Sometimes you get the scam wicks, so I thought let's just play the scam wicks. If it goes into the Monday's low that I was looking for on Bitcoin. So that's the basis I was playing it. Put it on break even, and I got stopped out. It was stopped out, no problem, not a big deal. But we can start to see that price action start to make bearish market structure. So it all comes down to what happens next. Let me delete that. Don't need this no more. Am I going to take a trade? I mean, if I want to take a quick trade itself, how would I do so? Literally, what am I looking for? Let's just have a look at this. We got Monday's mid-range over here. Sorry. You got June's range low over here. So this low is acting as resistance. I mean, ideally, if it was to come back up, whatever it does, come back like this, breaks down, I'm happy to take a short, whatever the deviation is, take the stop loss there, and then play it back down, take out liquidity over here, and then we can go down into the 1440 level, right, which is the macro previous all-time high back in 2018, and looking at $1,400. That's pretty much it. That's the way I'll be looking for shorts. If I want to look for longs, I want to see us reclaim this and show us bullish price action. So do something like this, breaks above and hold above it, whatever the thing is, at least you know that's the low, that's the higher high, that's the higher low, that's the higher high. Let's make the higher low, reclaim and hold above it. Let's run it up and play target into this range bound environment itself, and then we'll see into these highs and see if we can actually reclaim and hold it into the 25%, 75% range. And then if we do, go up, fill up the inefficiency. Just follow it with BTC. That's pretty much as it is. With Ethereum, as just to touch base on it quickly, that if we do lose the mid-range itself, right, just in case, you never know, because with the whole market is doing whatever it wants to do, as you can see, if it were to lose the mid-range, I'm happy to let it do its thing, get back below, show me bearish market structure, play it back down, level to here, and possibly the yearly open. And then we'll see what happens there. Do we hold the yearly open, play it back up to the mid-range, or do we end up losing the yearly open? Let's do that. Or do we end up losing the yearly open, play it back down, take out the liquidity over here, and then over into July's low? Who knows? Who knows? And then this will be a deviation of the mid-range. At the time being, for now, I want to see the mid-range hold $1,400. I mean, it could well do this actually. See this high over here? It could well come back down, right? Find support, and then I'm happy. Bullish price action, play it back to level into November's high. November's high is what's capping the market itself. Once we reclaim and hold above it, go into July's high. That's what I'm looking for. So, am I going to take a trade now? No, I'm not going to take any trade at the moment. I'm going to take things a lot more easy. I'm going to literally just watch the market as it is and then keep it safe, to be honest. That's all it is. Any questions? Any questions? Stops on FCon. FCon is one of those ones. I put a small bag, a very small bag on that one. I didn't go in quite like a big size of that. That's what FCon is saying right now. Yeah, I'm in profit now. Okay, alhamdulillah for that. Where's my stop loss? I do think gaming tokens are going to be a big thing. We will talk about this on the. We'll talk about like alts on the weekly alts. I presume will probably be Wednesday or Thursday. We'll do this ourselves between us as well. So I'm looking at alts itself. I do think gaming tokens is going to be a big thing, a big narrative. ZKP is a massive narrative itself. We've just got this whole scenario going on with crypto, with Binance and BUSD. So that's what's cocking up the whole thing. Let's go categories quickly. Let's have a look. Quickly touch base on it, and then I'm gonna call it a thingy. So Hacken Foundation. Oh man, Hacken is one badass one, and I talked about Hacken with the group as well. HAI. When I talked about Hacken, it was 1 month ago. I think it was about 2 cents. It was definitely around 2 cents. So yeah, I mean, it's one of them, like it's a 12 million market cap as well, but it's one of the auditing team as well. So Hacken was one I was looking at. But anyway, fuck that. What was I looking at? Where is it? Synthetics, stable coins, centralized. I'm losing a fucking plot over here. I ain't gonna lie to you. Start again. Hacken Foundation, Ethereum, you know what? Control F, 0. I'll find like that. Right, so that's gone down. I'm in thingy. What do you call it? I left 0, A0 as well. A0 is like I've got a nice bag on that as well. That's again for me a long-term hold. We'll talk about that on the thingy, on what do you call it? Panther Protocol. I've got some private sales on this actually on Panther Protocol. So I need to get my tokens off this. I mean, like, it's back at, to be honest, 5 cents was the, I think it was 5 cents was the private sale price. So is literally at freaking private sale price, to be honest, as well. It was below private sale at 2.5 cents as well anyway. So yeah, so that's that. I mean, we're going to talk about that as well afterwards. But A0 is definitely one that I'm looking at. I want to add a bit more, because what happened was I had like I had a nice decent bag on that when we went to $3, and I think by the time I cut it all off, it was about $2.95, about 93, 92, something like that. When I cut the whole thing off, I didn't cut all of it. I cut 90% of it, kept 10% off it, because I bought some at around 84, 85 cents, and then I bought like a massive bag at $1.12. It was on Twitter at the time when I bought it at $1.12. So and then like I rode it up to $3. Then took profits. I left 10% in there because I do believe A0 is going to have a banger. and it just so happened with this whole ZKP stuff as well as going on, it's gonna be an interesting one. So we'll see. Does this do 100x? We'll have to talk about that on the stream on Thursday, Wednesday or Thursday when I do the alt review. But there's a number of them. Like I said to you, like I'm playing this two differently. Very different. Like the alt stream is investing, right? It's an investing mind, and we can talk about some day trades and whatever. But this stream itself is just a trading session as well. Looking as a trader, have to differentiate the two between one another. You can't really go into the market thinking it's all the same thing. If you do, you kind of get screwed. Because when I look at it this way, for example, Solana, right? How many of us bought Solana and sold at like $3, $4, $5 and chased it up and whatnot? A lot of us did as well, or some of us did and whatnot. Very few held on to it, and I know Bombiggy was one of those who played it for freaking over 100x, and I want to get more 100x's this time as well. LDO is a very interesting one as well. That's been put on my table a few weeks ago as well, but I didn't buy into LDO, so do you know what? It's like I don't know too much about it, but one thing I do know is DeFi, and DeFi I do believe that they're gonna have a DeFi run. I'm not too sure when. At the moment, it's all narrative based. At the moment, yeah, AI go to ZKP. This is moving on to alts a bit too much there. I don't want to really talk too much about this. We'll keep this all on to the alt session as well. But in a bull run, everything runs, man. Everything runs in a bull run. The best thing to do, not the best. Again, not financial advice. The easiest thing to do really is that if you just let the market just run itself, right, it will run hard, right? There was one, I remember, was it DYDX back then, back in the early days? There was a token, I think it was DYDX. I think it was DYDX. I'll tell you something. So me, like a puddu, right? Those know what a puddu is it's another word for a woman's private area, right? It's a very, very disrespectful way to say something as well. Was it DYDX? I feel like it was. It's on Dextool. It was on Dextool. I don't think this is it then. Let me have a look. This is really gone off track from BTC now. I feel like it was DYDX. I got it at like freaking dirt cheap prices. Yeah, let's have a look. I know approximately when I bought this, so just bear with me just a second. I'll tell you the stupidity mistake I did. No, it wasn't that. It's not that. It was something else then. There was definitely one. But put it this way, I bought in that this token in 2020 around November, December. I think December 2020 or something like that, some shit like that. Bought into it right for at 10 cents. And I sold at 50 cents. No, I sold at 35 cents, and I had a little bit left, and then don't want to show you all my work. I sold at 10 cents. That's my cue to end. I've got to go. So that's it for me, guys. Catch you guys really soon. Take care, everybody.